Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's just a random Thursday right now, and I don't have, you know what I'm saying, amazing news. Other than we are rolling along, we're moving forward. I'm a little bit of a holding pattern, waiting to get final numbers on cabinets. And once I have those, we're moving forward. But right now, oh, a little squealy. Let me turn down my headphone level. God dang, what's happening here? Hold on. Let's see. There we go. How about that? Woo, squealy, sorry. Yeah, once we have that, we're rolling. I was going to use the prototype today, but as I was warming up, I heard like some weird, unhappy tube thing going on. It wasn't bad. Hey, Basil, 130 amps. That's right. You're good at math, buddy. So I just switched back over to the Monterey. I have a London here too, but I didn't have time to plug it in. It's a 220 volt London. I have the transformer. Sounds killer. It's also for sale. We can convert it to 120, of course. Probably should do that, right? I haven't played a London on here in forever. You know, the London was our very first amp, so some of you might not be familiar with it anymore, but let's do it. Anyway, I got out the trusty Elliot Stratocaster that Andy Elliott made for me, golly, 14 years ago, something like that. Guitar is still just ridiculous, and it plays so good and stays in tune. I don't know that I've played many Strats that play this well. It just does the thing. And hey, Canute, how are you, buddy? Screwed that up. Spring is here. Spring in Norway is really nice. Actually, Norway is really nice. Even winter in Norway is not that bad. People, winter in Scandinavia, it's not that bad. I think Norway's probably mellower because of all the ocean front, you know, all the coastline you have. It's still cold and lots of snow, but it's not ugly. Got my little Univibe pedal on. Hey, Matt Pierce, how are you, man? Nice to see your name. Wish I see your face. So, really what I'm waiting on is we're getting kind of a slow start, unexpectedly slow start, getting rolling with getting the new stuff together, mainly because everybody's just so dang busy. Hey, Michael DeTemple. Hey, man, how are you? I hope you're feeling better today, buddy. You're going to be able to go to band rehearsal. That's great. Oh, that's good. Been thinking about you, man. I hope you're well. So, anyway, Yeah, we're just waiting on like parts and getting pricing on parts so I can get my price list finalized. Price list finalized then goes out to dealers. I have a lot of dealers who have verbally said, "Hey, if you're making amps, I'm buying." So we're going to do a really small run at first, just 20 amps. Make sure there's no mistakes. There's always kind of often your first run, there's always a little glitch of this or that, or miscommunication, or you never know what's going to happen. So it's going to be cautious and make sure that's okay. And then once that's okay, which I'm very confident it will be, the guy I'm working with is great. Then we're off to the races. Going to start making amps, going to start working on prototypes, going to bring back some of the legacy stuff, working on new stuff. It's all good. I wish I just had a better update for you because I'm still just a little bit in a holding pattern this week. We kind of leapt forward a couple weeks ago, and then we stalled. So it's a big, busy world, and I am not these people's only customer, so I have to kind of, deal with it. I heard that this morning on the radio. Willie Dixon song. But Michael, if you're still there, let's talk. When you're able, I want to hear what's happening. I want to hear, hopefully, good news, right? Yeah. So, because I'm probably behind you in that same line. I'm just a few years behind for the same thing you're going to have done. So we're talking about knees, folks. Knees. Everybody, step up and get your knees. We got your hot, cold knees right here. So anyway. What's going on in the guitar and amp world, man? It's an interesting time to be in this business because digital is really getting grounds, taking ground. What am I trying to say? Increasing their footprint in the musical world, and lots of touring acts. What had happened to my vocabulary today? Lots of touring acts are discovering that. For a lot of the time, especially if it's not really a guitar act, the audiences can't tell the difference. I mean that in the nice way. But you go to certain acts, people there aren't guitar people. They don't know if you're playing the right sounding stuff or not. They don't know that doesn't quite sound as good as my Fender Deluxe. Oh, great. It is great news, Michael. Heck yeah. Wow, what a relief. Wow, I want to hear the whole story whenever you get a chance. That's great. Congratulations, man. I was really worried about you. But anyway, man, that's great, Michael. I'm really happy for you. So, but I know there's a lot more to it than you want to type on the comments here. So I look forward to hearing it. Anyway, I'm very happy and relieved. Very happy and relieved. Very happy and relieved for you, buddy. It sounded scary, the story you told me the other day. This guitar is so much fun to play. So how this guitar got made, it's a funny little story, a little short story, but You guys probably remember about 14 years ago, we were making an amp called the Whiskey. And it was kind of, I was having a moment, like I played music in LA on the Sunset Strip in the 80s at all the B level clubs. I was never a top level guy at all. Didn't really write songs back then or anything. But we played at this club called the Central, which is now the Viper Room. And right across the street on Sunset Boulevard is the Whiskey. So I used to go over there all the time and hang out. And I think we talked about this before. The bouncers and the doormen at all these clubs kind of knew all the musicians that were playing in the clubs, right? Because a lot of those doormen worked at multiple clubs, and bartenders would have shifts at different clubs. One night they're working at the Whiskey, another night they're working at the Rainbow, another night they're working at the Roxy, another night they're working at the Central, another night they're working at the Coconut Teaser, another night they're working at Gazzari's. Right? That was sort of just on the Sunset Strip, that was the main clubs. There's more clubs than that. I think the Central used to be called Filthy McNasty's. For the guys a little older than me, I think in the 60s and 70s it was called Filthy McNasty's. And then it became the Central. It's a real little club, but it's kind of a hot spot. Then it became the Viper Room. So like Johnny Depp and River Phoenix and all those guys, they hung out there all the time. So much so that they bought it and changed the name to the Viper Room. Anyway, so when I lived in Los Angeles in the 80s, old Strats weren't really that, what's the word I'm looking for, worshipped like they are now. So there was a store on Sunset Boulevard across the street from Guitar Center, the Rock Walk, the big Guitar Center on Sunset, called Voltage Guitars. And it was a pretty modest little store, but it had a bunch of cool gear. And their kind of thing was, we have all the cool gear you want, but we kind of have beat up versions of it, that you can afford. So back then, a relic type guitar was not cool. Everybody was playing Charvels and Jacksons and Kramers and all these really BC Riches and all these guitars with amazing finishes on them. So I bought a 62 Strat there. It wasn't very much money, and it wasn't completely functioning. Like, I think the bridge pickup was out, and the tuners were all screwed up, and the paint was just ruined, like it was cigarette burns and cracks and, stuff now that you pay a lot of money for. But back then that wasn't cool. But I think I might have paid $1,100. I can't remember exactly. It was really cheap. So because it was 1986, what did I do? I went and had a humbucker put in the bridge and a Floyd Rose tremolo put on. I took a perfectly good, I think it was Daphne blue maybe, close to this color, right? Light blue. This is sort of turning green now because it's 15 years old, or 14 years old. Anyway, I loved the guitar. It played great, and maple neck, and but I was embarrassed by it. Isn't that stupid? How times change, right? I was embarrassed by the guitar, and so I traded in. I got a Kramer Beretta with EMG pickups in it, and then I went to Performance Guitars on Yucca over in Hollywood and had them make me a custom neck, and it looked. You guys have seen that picture. I'll put it back up just for fun, but and I had the Maui and Son shirts and the EMG pickups and the black Floyd Rose on the guitar. It was disgusting. And I traded in this perfectly good Strat. Anyway, so we were making the Whiskey amp. Really takes me a long time to get to this. I'm sorry. We were making the Whiskey amp, and I was kind of just feeling like, man, I really miss that old 62 Strat that I had. And I sent Andy some pictures of guitars that were similar. There was a custom shop guitar that was really close to it. I forgot what they called it, but it was a lot of money, and I like these better anyway. So he made me this. But he said he's not going to relic the paint. He said, I can't do that. I can't, in all good conscience, put a beautiful finish on a guitar and then screw it up, which is fair. It's fine. So he made this guitar for me, I think in 2012, maybe 2013. So, kind of weird thing going on in my headphones. So that's how it came about. And Andy's really great at picking out wood. So is Michael the Temple. These two guys, they're like the East Coast, West Coast version of each other. Andy's guitars are amazing. Michael's guitars are amazing. They're both really extremely knowledgeable about wood. So I think I still need to have Michael. I might have you put your mastodon nut on this guitar. It's just so good that I hate to touch it. Andy did a really great job on this. Yeah, it just plays great. And it feels great. It stays in tune really well. This neck is really, really hard maple. So it's really stable. You can just, and it doesn't move. You know, it's really good. So I'm just kind of feeling that today. I'm going to meet a guy to play guitar this afternoon. And I thought, I'm going to bring the Elliot along. So I thought I'd just get reacquainted with it today while we're here. Anyway, lovely guitar. What are we doing with amps? That's the question. Why are you here watching? You want to hear about amps. The amp world is fine. We're making a lot of strides, even taking some of our classic amps and revoicing them a little bit. Seems like tastes have changed. Tubes have changed, that's for sure. And it's all kind of fashion, you know, like skirts go up and down, haircuts go long and short, sideburns come and go. Same thing with tube amp sounds. Like, you know, sometimes people like them really, really super bright for a while, and then it goes back to warm and gritty and all that kind of stuff. This amp right now, this is the Monterey, and I'm running it what I consider pretty dark. But because I'm having a maple neck guitar here, it's got a real stringy sound to it, you know, that I kind of like. Very vintage kind of stringy sound. Not overkill. I mean, I can throw on a whole bunch of distortion if you want. But I don't know, man. I'm just enjoying digging the guitar. So we have this prototype amp up here, El Pompadouro. And we're going to make versions of it with 6L6s and EL34s. And probably one with 7591s. And it'll have the power capabilities that this has, right? Where it's really high current and low voltage, which will make the tube safe and last a long time. It also widens your choice on tubes you can use. So when the tubes are operating very comfortably, which most tube amps are not, matter of fact, almost all tube amps are not, you can use whatever you want. And I have some really super cheap shit old Chinese tubes in here. It sounds great. I think I have a preamp tube that's maybe unhappy, but literally, honestly, there's like $2 tubes in there. And it works fine. That was my thing. Like, I want to put the worst tubes I can find in there, and if it still works, I know it's good. So I don't think the power is a problem. I think it's just a shitty tube. But I mean, as far as power tubes go, you know, power tubes are the ones that cost a lot of money. And those are the ones that wear out. Preamp tubes can last 30, 40, 50 years. Power tubes, however, modern power tubes, are at full voltage, like an old style amp. At full voltage, they're only really fresh for about 100 hours. And if you have an amp that's cathode biased and you accidentally leave it on without turning it on standby, that 100 hours quickly becomes 20 hours. So you can really start burning money on tubes really fast. I'm trying to get around that. And how do I know these things? From doing it myself, right? Something about this makes me just want to play old style blues. And I'm not that great at it, so thank you for listening. So we're going to have those. Then I'm working on a little bitty amp with the little bitty wee tubes, and it sounds great. I just got, one of the things that we're waiting for, unfortunately, the real world story is financing. It's hard to move too far forward without a little money in the bank. So I have a lot of people committed. I have a lot of people giving me positive conversations, but it's kind of a chicken before the egg, horse before the cart sort of situation. We want to see you up and running and get some dealers going, and then we feel more comfortable. Well, it's hard to do that without money, so it moves slowly. We're getting there, though. I mean, it's going to be soon. Like, you should hopefully hear me talking about a prototype that works maybe in a month or 6 weeks, something like that. I'm confident it's going to turn out great. I just want it to happen now. Pan back. I can't really pan this camera, Greg. It's a little webcam, and it's as far back as it can go. I can play up here. Not the best playing position comfort-wise, but... How long before 230 volt versions? As soon as you order one. These can all be done 230, 240, 220, depending on where you are in the world. So, yes, Javier. Where are you, Javier? I assume you're in Spain? Maybe? Judging by your name and your need for 230 volts. Let's see if I can just tilt the camera down a little bit for you, Greg, but then you won't see my... Uh-oh. My camera came loose. Hold on. Shit. That's funny. The cable's really fragile on this thing. Hold on. Let me unplug it and plug it back in. I'll be damned. Wow, I blew it. Somehow. I don't know what happened here. All I did was wiggle it a little bit. I know you guys can hear me. Hang on a second. Gosh darn it, I can't believe that. That's really stupid. Let's make sure they're all good. Cables are all good. They're all plugged in. Why is it not happy? Is it time for a new camera, maybe? Is my camera getting... Let me just unplug everything and plug it back in. Yeah, look at that. I lost my camera. Hold on a second. Oh, yay, there we go. Don't touch the camera anymore. That was fun. So, Greg, I'm sorry. I'm just going to be like this for right now. I hear you, though. We'll get it. You're in Spain. Okay, Javier. So, there's two ways we can do this, if you like. I can sell direct into Europe. It's a lot of paperwork. Or if you have a dealer, hey, thanks, Basil. I appreciate that. Sage advice. Yeah, I'm listening. I hear you, Basil. Good call. Basil says, pro tip, don't break the camera. Shit, I wish somebody would have told me that a few minutes ago. So, yeah, Javier, if you have a dealer you like in Spain, where are you in España? I used to have a dealer in Spain. I can't remember their name now. It's been a long time. And man, would I love an excuse to come visit you. Madrid. Oh, perfect. Okay, perfect. Well, when these are ready, let's talk. You can get a hold of me here on Facebook. Um, I assume your English is really good. If I'm speaking too fast and you need me to clarify, just let me know. It's no problem. I've lived in places where I didn't speak the native language, and sometimes I need people to just slow down. Langsamer bitte. Um, so I will take care of you, Javier. No problem. We will find a way to make it work. Okay, good. You never know. You never know who you're talking to. Also, I know a lot of people in Europe don't understand American English as well as they do British English. So I can fake my old British accent if you will. I lived in England for a while, and every day someone would come up and say, "Oh, you're a Yank. Here's what I hate about America." And I would go, "You know what? No one in the U.S. likes the government either. We get it. I understand, but I'm just a guest here." But anyway, I got really tired of that conversation. So after a while, I got where, when you're in somewhere, you just start sounding like them. So I made an effort to sound English, and it worked. After a while, no one knew that I was an American. And I got where I could do adios amigo. Take care, Greg. Thanks for dropping in. I got where I could do a lot of different regional accents too. It was fun. I just like mimicking people because I'm a musician, right? Your ear hears those things. And I grew up singing Beatles songs, so it wasn't that hard for after a while to go, "Hey, Ringo, let's kick George out of the band." Man, this is one damn good guitar. One more question. Are the hi-fi tubes any good for guitar amps? Are they worth the investment? Not really different. I don't think they're worth the extra money. Usually because they're the exact same tubes that have just been tested thoroughly. If that makes sense. There is okay to charge a little more for thoroughly testing a tube. I get that. But not like 4 times as much. Um, is there a tube in particular that you're thinking of, Javier? This amp is 6v6s, by the way, in case you didn't know. Oh, cryotones. Oh, yeah, PS Veins. PS Vein makes good tubes. The cryogenic thing, I've never seen any evidence that that works. Um, there's a lot of talk about it, and I've read a lot of things. I've talked to a lot of tube guys who said, "Man, I got to tell you, I can't measure any difference with it." Basil says, "Are there significant differences between modern tube brands, say JJ EL34s versus Electro Harmonics?" Yes. They are all different, and they're a moving target. They're all changing all the time. So the thing that I always recommend, like there's a couple guys here in the US that I rely on. Basil, are you in, I forgot. Where are you, Basil? Are you in US? Are you in Britain? I can't remember. Or Italy? Where are you? Darn it. Anyway, there's guys that I just call and go, "Hey, what's good right now?" Kind of like when you go to the butcher. You're in Chicago. That's right. Okay, so perfect. So for you, Doug Preston, Doug's Tubes is great. Mike Kropotkin at kcanostubes.com. I can type this out for you so you don't have to remember it. And then here on the West Coast, Marty at ARS. I call those guys and go, "Hey, Pat Garrity, how are you, buddy?" Um, let me type this out for you. And then call Marty at ARS Electronics in Van Nuys. I don't think their website is just arselectronics.com. And I don't have time to look. If you guys could look and post it here, that would be great. I have multiple platforms going here, so there are people on YouTube that don't see the Facebook comments and vice versa. So I'll get it. Restoring some old motocross bikes. Just stop by to say hi. Well, that's cool, Pat. I hope you guys all know Pat, formerly of Brown Box fame, right? He's the inventor. Old motocross bikes are fun, man. That's a retired guy's hobby. That's a lot of money and a lot of skinned up knuckles. Is there, so yeah, Basil, my personal preference on power tubes, it just depends on the model. Like, for example, JJEL 84s are unrivaled. There's nothing that sounds as good as they do, and there's nothing that lasts as long or takes voltage as well as they do. Same with their 6v6s. I think their 6v6s are outstanding. They take a lot of beating and they work good, but they sound really great. As far as EL34s and 6L6s go, it's a little bit of a moving target. I know Electro-Harmonix EL34s are supposed to be really nice. A lot of people use them. JJs are also very popular with, look at what amp makers use. They're usually using the most reliable tubes because they don't want to do warranty work, right? So you see like Bogner, and he uses, Reinhold Bogner uses mostly JJ EL34s. Dave Friedman is using, I think, PS Fanes and Chinese stuff now because they're making great tubes. But it does move around. You know, you need to be in touch, establish a relationship with someone who can help you through all that. I have my ear to the ground, but I'm not the most knowledgeable guy for that because I don't buy a lot of tubes anymore. I will be soon. So, anyway, yeah, man. Long answer to a short question. I'm sorry. Is there a certain amp also depends what kind of amp you're going to put it in. Like, you know, for me, the question is like older amps have really high voltage compared to modern amps. You know, like if you have a 1970 or 71 Marshall, you could be over 500 volts B plus, and most modern tubes aren't going to last. You might get 20, 30 hours out of them before they pop. But I had a 70, 50 watt where the B plus was 380 volts. And that's one of my favorite sounding amps ever. Sounded great. Tubes would last decades in that thing. Tubes hate voltage, love current. So it depends on what kind of amp you're putting in. If it's a modern amp that uses 34s, like we're talking about, like a Bogner or a Friedman, their voltages are a little more reasonable. You know, the tubes are going to last. You don't have to be too paranoid about it. You know, where you're getting B plus of 420, 430, something like that. That's still pretty hot for a modern tube, but it works. You know, the tubes will last a while. The thing is, you know, most of the customers for those amps are guys that don't play that much. And if they do, they have the master volume down really low because Dr. Z amps. Yeah, Dr. Z's are great. I don't think his voltages are too crazy. I do a little reading around, you know, and call some people. The closest person to you, the closest tube vendor to you that I know of that does a really good job are the two guys on the East Coast there. But, you know, Marty here at ARS, He's got the best testing facilities I've ever seen. Like he really thoroughly tests tubes, and he'll stand behind his tubes. He tests them so thoroughly that he only sells the ones that he feels he can stand behind. So if you call him and tell him what kind of amp you're running, and if you can somehow ascertain what the B plus voltage is on it, he'll tell you. He'll make a really good choice for you. I trust Marty implicitly. Plus, he gives good deals. And if you use my name, tell him I sent you over there, he'll give you a little better deal. Anyway, yeah, man, tube schmoobs. That's the whole point of on this prototype is I want to take out the worry about tubes. There's so much consternation and concern about tubes, and for 25 years now I've been hearing, oh, we're running out of old tubes. There's none left, and it's actually starting to become true. It used to be sort of a way for guys to scare you into buying tubes, but it's actually starting to happen. I've seen less and less NOS tubes now. And we've had the discussion about really what is an NOS tube and what's not an NOS tube. An old tube that measures well is not an NOS tube. NOS means new old stock. It's just what it means, literally, like it never sold. It's still on the shelf in somebody's warehouse or storage room or whatever because it never sold. Or it's a distributor's old stock that he never sold. An old tube that's used, that still measures well, which a lot of them really do, is not an NOS tube. It's just a good tube. It's a good old tube. And an old tube that measures 80% will perform better than any of the modern tubes that measure 100%. So you just got to be careful with the language. Salespeople and marketing people kind of use ambiguous language on purpose to sell things. They're trying to make money. So, have your ears on. Make sure you're listening to what they say and know from a point of knowledge what the phrase NOS means. But, I used to do the LA Amp Show all the time, and I was on the Tone Wizards panel. We called it the Tone Lizards. We thought we were going to get there and talk about amps every year. But really all it was people raising their hands and going, where can I find good whatever tubes? And it became apparent to me 15 years ago that there's a huge amount of worry and concern about tubes. See you later, kiddo. Have fun out there. Let me know how it goes. It's my youngest daughter. So tubes are a big worry. So ever since I started the business, it's just been nonstop hand wringing over tubes. Even when I was buying lots of tubes from vendors, we had trouble with tubes. And our good friend Miles Rose, who you guys all remember, Bruce Egnator's here. He can vouch for me on this. Hi, Bruce. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Our good buddy Miles Rose used to always chirp something into my ear all the time, and Bruce can back me up on this. Tubes hate voltage and love current. Tubes hate voltage and love current. Tubes hate voltage and love current. And then my next question was, well, why are all amps high voltage and low current? Well, because you need volume. People want power. Well, people don't want power now. Like, the manufacturers that I mentioned to you that make 100-watt amps, most people play them, and they've told me, like the proprietors of these businesses, that I know that most of my customers never put the master volume on this amp above 2 or 3. They don't really need a 100-watt amp. It just feels different to have all those tubes. It's a good feeling, and it's worth it. Plus, you're keeping the amp in second gear the whole time, so it doesn't really, but the voltage is still there, even when you're playing quietly. There's still just, the sitting still voltage of it is high. So anyway, I'm trying to go the opposite way. If tubes hate voltage and love current, Darla, come on, quit doing that. I got crazy dogs. If tubes hate voltage and love current, well, why don't we make an amp that is not high voltage and also delivers more current? has all the current available the tube wants to draw. And that's what this is. I had to work with a couple of transformer manufacturers to get it right. It's expensive to do that, but we've done it. And so it should, in theory, make the tubes last a long time. Now, we did a series earlier, gosh, also 15 years ago, called The Producer. We did 3 versions of The Producer, and that was a step in this direction. So like for a pair of 6L6s, like this one is, the B plus on it was, I think, 300 volts instead of 440 or 430. Maybe 320, I can't remember. But anyway, the tubes never popped. So we made an EL34 version and an EL84 version, all low voltage. And the power transformer was big. It was wound enough to deliver all the current that it draws at that low voltage. And as far as I know, we never popped a tube on those amps. Now, every other line of amps we put out, you pop tubes right away. That's just part of the tube amp business. You make 100 amps, a couple of them are going to blow tubes, right away. And it really makes a difference. So anyway, I need that light on. That's what we're trying to do here is, and then when you reduce the stress on the tube, by not hammering it with voltage, then it relaxes and it sounds better. And when you flood it with current, it's like giving it oxygen. So you can ask the tube to do more things. You get a little more wider, bandwidth on it. It really works great. But you lose volume. And if I run this amp down in like the lowest tap on this power transformer, it's a pair of 6L6s, I can run it down at 3 watts. And it sounds great because it just flooded with current. And it sounds real. You put a microphone on it, you can't tell that it's a little amp. So anyway, that's the theory. That's what we're working on. And so what I think that's going to do is make a tube amp a lot more viable for people. Because digital amps are great, and you get 2,500 sounds in one box, which is fun. I like digital stuff. It's great. I enjoy it. But there's something intangible about playing a tube amp that's working right. It sounds different. It makes you play differently. It interacts with your guitar differently harmonically, when the speakers are agitating the strings and the pickups. It just works differently. Better or worse? I don't know. That's up to you. My humble opinion is better. But I'm not dictating that because if you like digital stuff better, then good. Digital's great. I worked at Line 6 as a consultant for 6 years working on Helix. And man, I can get some good sounds out of that thing. Good sounds. And if you're playing in a bar through a PA system, nobody's going to tell the difference. You will tell the difference, though, with your hands and your feeling, the way you play. I don't know why. Feeling the univibe today. Well, there you go. That's what's going on in Amp World, and that's my diatribe about tubes. Do you guys have any questions or thoughts? Or, usually if I open it up to about tubes, hey, what are your questions on tubes? There's always most people are really worried about where to get tubes. I think the supply of tubes is fine. I think those are my 3 favorite vendors I gave you. There's other vendors that are great. You can find the tubes you need. It's not a big deal. It's just whether or not you want to pay to pop tubes. You want to buy tubes and blow them up. And then so when you do this sort of high current, low voltage thing that we're talking about, when you put NOS tubes or just old tubes in, as if we've defined NOS, right? Now we're all clear on what NOS actually means. You put a good old tube in there, man, does it respond to having all that current? It sounds really good, and it feels good. I don't know about you, but for me, 51% of an amp is feel. I got the hiccups. Excuse me. I need an amp to feel good. I need it to be cooperative. I need it to be encouraging. I need it to be compliant. A lot of amps aren't. You have to work in their little narrow lane to get something done. Ooh. I like that univibe. Not really the amp for that, but you get the idea. I'm running a 6v6 amp into a 412 Marshall impulse response. Yeah, univibe, baby. Anyway, are you guys still there? I'm ranting about tubes. I saw all the questions and the comments just stop. Brian, you should come down to Austin and play with me. Oh, man, nothing would make me happier to play with my buddy, Brian Mendes. Everybody say hi to Brian Mendes. Yeah, dude. Can I sleep on your sofa? Yeah. One of the most fun times I ever had was playing music with you. We had so much good time at the shop and with the little band. What about 12AX7s? Any faves? Yeah, I like the JJ803S. That's a 803S. It's a long plate tube. The 803 instead of the, so in European nomenclature, a 12AX7 is an ECC 83. Right, and the military versions are called ECC 803s, 803S. Or just the S, I think, is for a spiral winding. But that's my favorite tube that's still made today. I used to really like the tongue saw reissue from Electro Harmonics, but I've heard it's not what it used to be. So I like long plate tubes. If you can find them, the old EI 12AX7s are the best modern tubes around. That London I have has EIs in it from the ones we put in decades ago. But yeah, man. We have a beautiful guest bedroom anytime. Oh, dude, I'll take you up on that. Been too long since we hung out anyway, man. That kind of hurts. That kind of really hurts. It's funny, I had another guy call me today that Brian. Remember Colonel Tony Daniel? He's retired now, lives on the beach in South Carolina, like Hilton Head or something. And we were talking about how there's a small group of friends that are up at the family level of bonding, and time and distance don't matter. It doesn't change the bond you have with them, and you're one of those guys. So yeah, let's do it. Let's start a band. The Clarences. Yeah? I still like that idea of the Clarences, but we'll work that out later. She loves you, man. She got a ticket to ride. Never mind. You know the song. You guys know Clarence, the fifth Beatle? Doesn't really work on a 6v6 amp that much, but you get the idea. Wait, I too gotta get ready to go. I got stuff to do today. Anyway, so mild update on 65 amps. I'm here. We're making. Things are in progress. We have... we're getting there. We're just getting there. Marcus Derby. Hey, oh man. My friend from Yuma. How you been, buddy? Yeah, right on. What's happening in Yuma, Arizona? You guys are getting into hot season here soon, aren't you? Isn't it like the hottest time in Yuma, like May? Down there on the Mexican border. Yuma's great. Best Mexican food I've ever had in Yuma, Arizona. Sorry to my friends in Texas and New Mexico. It's just a different style. You know, people argue over it like barbecue or something, but as a guy from central Missouri, I like all kinds of Mexican food. But the fact that like the southern border of, oh, nice, it's in the 80s, Pleasant. That's great down there. That's really nice. There's so much of the year when Yuma is really, really nice. You know, I have all my cousins down there, you know. But it's funny, there's this thing, for those of you that are not close to Mexico, there's this rivalry or this snobbiness. Like the closer you are to Mexico, in theory, the better your Mexican food is, which is mostly true, actually. But it's because of the audience. You know, the further north you go, the more gringos you got to serve. And, ooh, it's spicy. But, oh, yeah, man. Man, there's 2 or 3 joints in Yuma that my cousins used to order that were so good. I mean, like, I'm salivating thinking about it right now. But so we're here in LA. We have pretty good Mexican food here, and lots of different styles. You know, there's about 7 or 8 styles of Mexican food that I'm familiar with. There's probably 20 more, but there's 7 or 8 that you know, there's Michoacan, there's, you know, stuff down on the Baja Peninsula, there's, you know, stuff from the East Coast with that white cheese sauce, you know, all that stuff. And then, you know, then there's Tejano, which you get in Texas. There's not much of that here. And then the New Mexico style is really different. And then, but so when I go down, I have a lot of cousins in San Diego who originally from Yuma, Arizona. When I go down there, they always order Mexican food because it's the go-to down there. And I go, oh my God, this Mexican food's so good. Like we eat at this restaurant called Fidel's. It's kind of, you know, La Jolla area, I guess. And gosh darn, it's so good. And they're like, yeah, it's all right. And then even just the run-of-the-mill taco places in San Diego, like Roberto's Tacos, there's a bunch of them down there. Holy moly, they're so good. And then, but they're like, you know, they're from Yuma, Arizona, where Marcus is from here. And the people, because they're from Yuma, they're like, yeah, it's okay. It's not quite as good as Yuma. And then a couple times when I went to Yuma, we'd go across the border to Algodones. And the food there is just, oh, Algodones, Mexico is a really cute little town. It does a lot of trade with Americans, you know, buying pharmaceuticals mostly, I guess. There are a lot of pharmacies there where you can buy whatever for 10 cents on the dollar of what it costs in the U.S. And but the food is just insane. So it's just that joke about, you know, well, you're too far away from Mexico. But it's true, though. Like if I go up to Santa Barbara from here, which is 80 miles north of here, Mexican food's a little mellower. It's a little more gringo. You know, there's 2 things that Mexicans themselves don't really do. One of which is put sour cream on Mexican food. That's, I think, the equivalent of putting ketchup on your steak. But their food is not cheddar cheese. They don't use a lot of cheddar cheese down there, and if they do, it's just for gringos. Um, so there's a Mexican cheese mix that has cheddar in it, but they use queso fresco and stuff like that, fresh cheese, and it's really good. So it's kind of funny. Like when I lived in Atlanta, I'd be playing music and we'd drive down to Macon, and Macon would be like, the guys in Macon would be like, how can you live up there in Atlanta with all them Yankees? And then we'd go down to Savannah, and the people in Savannah go, where are you from? Oh, from Atlanta. We played in Chihuahua cheese. Yeah, that's right. Scotty Bratcher's here. Hey, Scotty. Yeah, and we go, well, we played in Macon last night. Oh, Macon, up there with all them Yankees. And then we go down to Jacksonville, Florida, and we played in Savannah last night. Savannah, up there with all them Yankees. So it's the same thing with Mexican food. It's really cute. Um, but anyway, we're talking about Mexican food now. It's kind of getting silly. So the amp's off, right? You can hear how much this guitar just rings, right? It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. Yeah, Andy Elliott. Shout out to Andy Elliott making nice guitars. Well, Scotty, you missed me playing Mediocre Blues earlier. I'm sorry you missed it. Mediocre by your standards, for sure. But it's about time for me to go. I got to run, do some errands, and then giving a guitar lesson later this afternoon. And I need to work out. I need to eat some lunch. I need to do all these things. I got to get strong again. After 2 years of the retina surgeries and everything, I'm out of shape and atrophied. I found that out yesterday. Trying to do some active things with some friends. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's wrong with me. I feel like I'm 75 years old. So I'm going to try to fight that. Been working out pretty hard since I recovered from this surgery. I got a long way to go, though. A long way to go. Not getting braggy at all. I need some support. You guys cheer me on, damn it. But yeah, Andy Elliott's guitars, just so you know, I think it's elliottguitars.com. You should go have a look. If you get a chance, talk to Andy. He's one of the nicer people you'll ever meet. He's extremely kind, and he's a gentleman for sure, which is not always the case with a lot of makers. He's really the stuff. I'm proud to know him. Greg Kaler says, look, now I'm hungry for a chicken quesadilla with sour cream. Thanks, Dan. Oh, you're going to eat it the gringo way, are you? Okay. I'm kidding. That's just totally bullshit. But they don't use sour cream. Mexicans don't. Anyway, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to go get some Mexican food now. Thankfully, I'm in the part of the world where there's 10 Mexican restaurants within a 2-mile radius of my house. So some of them are kind of famous. Ones you might have heard of, Casa Vega, stuff like that. I got Don Cuco's over here in Toluca Lake that way. Casa Vega's that way. What else? There's Ernie's Taco House just right down there. And then there is Whatchamadoodle on Tahunga. There's 2 places there that are killer. Yeah, I got options. I'm gonna do that. Who wants to go for Mexican? Who's in the valley? Let's go. Anyway, listen, I gotta fly, guys. I appreciate your time. It was kind of a mellow show today. Scotty, if you rewind, you can hear me playing Mediocre Blues, and I just can't get those Albert King bends right. I gotta work on that. Maybe when we're together, you can teach them to me, because I've seen you do it and do it right. Albert King's so crazy. Anyway, I love you guys. I gotta run. I'm sorry to bolt. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week. hopefully I'll have a little better update than this week, and we'll play some more guitar and have fun, tell bad jokes, all that stuff. Anyway, I'm out of here, and I'll see you soon. I love you, fellas. Take